making calls. All right, now this is probably advice for entry level people who are, barely starting off in their career, right? Somebody who's a little bit more experienced, a little bit more advanced, and more established is probably already doing these things, right? And has probably reached their current level of success by doing these things. Okay, so what I'm saying is, a lot of the time, younger people, when they're starting their careers off, or trying to start a business, or trying to build a nonprofit or something, any type of project, usually what they do is they'll do everything but make phone calls. They'll do everything but send emails. They'll do everything but correspond with people. They'll go to events, they'll network, they'll exchange business cards, they'll connect on social media, they'll do, word of mouth, they'll, promote products, and they'll do everything other than connecting on like a corporate kind of level, with like a corporate kind of vibration. Okay, now what I mean by corporate, I mean like an established business that is structured in a way that meets legal milestones, standards. I don't know, maybe I'm not wording this correctly. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, a lot of the time when we're first starting off, we're a little bit nervous, okay? Especially if we're just starting our business, or we're just starting a service that we haven't had a lot of experience in establishing or refining. Like, let's say you just started a cleaning business, and let's say you don't have any, or you don't have very many customers, right? And so you'll go to networking events, you'll do word of mouth, you'll get on social media, and you'll do all those things, except for actually make phone calls to businesses that could help you refine your company, or further establish or define your company. And I'll use an example. Okay, I'm in entertainment. Mostly that's my industry. I'm an entertainer. I host events. I produce films and music and all types of creative things. Everything in the entertainment industry, I do it. And I own a couple of companies in the entertainment industry. Some of them are more new than others. One of them is a lot more established than the others. But anyway, so when I first started off, I had a venue. Okay, I had a mentor that owned a venue, a big venue that was very established, very well connected in the industry out here, and I was able to host events there at that place for a couple of years, or for like a year or two. Well, yeah, for like a year, and but I hosted multiple events, and that kind of became like the home for my business, or like my events. That's basically the place where we would host them. But things happened, and they're closing the location to move into, and that was big. They're closing their current, or their previous location, in order to move into a larger space downtown. Okay, now they were already in a good location, but now they'll be in an even better location. All right. But there's a period of time where I'm having to wait because they haven't opened this new location. It's kind of being postponed. They're still renovating. There's a lot of things that are happening behind the scenes, and the opening is being delayed. Okay, so I've been going through this season where that's a long time from the long version. Okay, basically what I'm trying to say is, I've entered this season where I've struggled to find a new location to host events at. Okay, and some of the locations that I've thought of were more popular locations. I already knew the venue owners, and so I went to them and I asked them, "Hey, can we work together somehow?" And some of them didn't want to lower their rental prices. Some of them were just so busy they never got back to me, and some of them, they just weren't able to accommodate me. So what I did was, for a minute, I kind of just gave up, and I was like, wow, okay, I guess I'm not going to be able to find a venue. I even made a couple of phone calls, okay, to venues that I had never, that I didn't know the owner. I was just trying to I was doing cold calls, okay. Now, nothing came of the cold calls. However, I did reach out to somebody. um, I sent them a message online saying, hey, I know that you've hosted previous events and I'd love to collaborate with you. In my mind, I was hoping that they had a venue in mind or a place that they had previously hosted an event at or something. And yes, after waiting about a week or so for some stuff on their end to clear up, they let me know that they were a possible lead, that they definitely wanted to bring me in to discuss my event ideas. And so this actually happened a lot quicker than I thought it would. I thought I'd have to wait a few more months or a few more weeks before I found a connection. And you know, it's definitely, and they're very flexible. They have a lot of openings, a lot of available times for me to do an event at, multiple events maybe. And so I probably would have not ever come across that opportunity or known that that person could connect me to that opportunity if I had never asked, okay? Because this person didn't know me very well. We did meet at a pretty important mixer where people were networking, and we did exchange social media information, so we connected there. And essentially, I really didn't know what this person did. I just had heard that they had hosted an event that was kind of like along the same lines of something that I was thinking of doing. So I was really looking for collaborators, really, when I reached out to that person, and then they led me to the venue, a new venue. And so the whole purpose of me making this video is really to encourage you to not give up. Don't give up. Like, let's say you've been reaching out to all these businesses, all these potential collaborators, and all of them are saying no, or some of them are like, oh, well, I can't right now, or there just seems to be a lot of closed doors, okay? Now, I still have yet to secure dates with this organization, or this business, I should say, in terms of like what dates we're going to have these events, but I have a feeling that even if it doesn't work out here for some reason, I will eventually find a spot. If not at this place, which I think this is actually probably going to happen. This is probably the lead that I've been waiting for. But yeah, with all that being said, if I had not reached out, because this person really didn't reach out to me. I mean, they definitely reached out to me in like a casual, friendly kind of way, and a conversational kind of way, but I was the one that reached out and said, hey, would you like to collaborate, work together, etc., etc. So a lot of the time, people who are a little bit more introverted resist having to reach out to people, having to be the one to initially extend the hand in partnership. There's a lot of people who are a little bit afraid to make moves, a little bit afraid to reach out to people that they've known, and I'd have to say, I'm not gonna lie, I mean, I struggle with this too. I get nervous too. Even if these are people that I've known for years, I still get nervous sometimes pitching ideas to them. Okay, this is not unusual, and it doesn't mean that you have low self-esteem or low confidence or anything like that. It just means that you have high hopes. You are emotionally invested in your ideas, and that's a good thing. So don't ever feel bad if after people closing the door on you, people rejecting your ideas or saying, no, sorry, we can't do that here, or sorry, we don't want to, in other words, be flexible and meet your needs, or change our setup to meet your needs, or we just don't want to collaborate, or whatever. Do not let it discourage you, because a lot of the time when you're directing or producing something, You have to have more strength than the project itself. You have to be the strength of the project, okay? You have to realize that your emotions are only going to get in the way of you fulfilling and accomplishing your desires and goals and vision. You know, if I had allowed myself to be heartbroken and totally discouraged and said, you know what, we're never going to find a venue, we're never going to do this, I'm never going to do that, I can never, people don't want to do this. If I had kept rehearsing those ideas and repeating them and teaching myself those things, then I would have probably never reached out to this person, you know, and I probably never would have reached out to all the other businesses that I reached out to that closed the door on me, right? And as the face of San Diego, I have doors closed on me. Okay, so don't think that, you know, that it's because you're a nobody or because you're not valuable or because your goals and dreams are not important to people. It's not that. It's just that a lot of the time you might be dealing with somebody who can't dream as big as you. You might be more capable of dreaming in a way that will bring true prosperity to your lives, but these people will never open up their minds that'll open up their minds enough to bring those things into their lives. Okay, so you got to realize that when you are able to dream big, it's a good thing. And even though people reject those ideas or don't identify with them or don't want to get involved or whatever, it doesn't mean that they're not important or that they're not going to be successful or that what you're envisioning is not going to happen. Okay, sometimes you need to remove certain people from your life. You know, sometimes you need to leave certain connections on the back burner and realize, like, okay, they don't believe in me now, but they will one day. And you can decide whether you want to continue to work or deal with them beyond that point. That's all up to you. But don't not make calls. You know, always make calls. Always reach out to people. Now, if you are noticing that after reaching out to, like, let's say, now what I will say you don't want to do is when you're messaging people, offering them your services, that's probably not a good way to go about things. I've noticed from personal experience that you might have a great service. You might have a great product that the person that you're reaching out to needs, okay? But messaging someone, whether if it's a text or a message online or something like that, it is so impersonal. To them, it feels like you're just trying to sell them something. You're just trying to get them to buy something. Okay, so when you are looking for customers, when you're looking for clients, when you're looking to connect with people for your projects, develop relationships. Okay, this is something that I'm learning in this season more than I've ever learned it before. Developing personal connections with people that you work with. Now, I'm not saying, you know, like boundarylessness. I'm not saying don't have boundaries. You want to have boundaries with the people you work with. You don't want to get too personal, but I'm saying they have to know you on a level where they can be like, oh, I know who they are. Like, they have to feel like they know you. And what they know about you has to be something that they can live with or appreciate, you know? So whenever you're dealing with a potential future customer or client or whatever, become their friend first. Okay, spend time with them, take an interest in what they have going on, ask about their life, ask them questions. And if you're not interested, if you're not actually interested in their lives and what they have going on and who they are, then this might not, you might not be in the right industry. If you're not really interested in every aspect of what it is that is required of you to fulfill your vision, then either you need to find somebody else who can do those things and fulfill those needs within your company, or you need to do some personal inner work so that you can meet those needs, or you just need to switch industries. Because you know, sometimes I'll deal with people in my industry and I'm just like, why are you doing this work? because you don't seem like you're genuinely happy doing this. It's strange when you see people who are so heavily invested in things that are not so important to them. It's really weird. When I see that, I'm like, something's wrong here. But anyways, with all that being said, be invested to the point where you are able to reach out to people. Like, okay, now the whole video was titled Make Those Calls, right? Now, make those calls to people that you've developed relationships with, okay? If they have gotten to know you, if you've hung out maybe once or twice, gotten to know each other, know what the other person does, they know what you do, then you can make the call. Then if you've gone to a couple of their events or you've bought a couple of their products or whatever, then you make the call and you ask them, hey, do you want to get involved in what I have going on, or do you want to participate, or whatever? Because people do not like people who want to take from them. People who have something to offer usually do not like people who only want to take from them. So you never really want to give off those vibes by asking for anything. You don't want to ask for anything. Never ask. Okay, if you just met somebody that you're trying to network with, connect with, become friends with, become collaborators with, or partners with, you never, don't do it. Please don't do it. You're going to ruin that connection instantly. Right when you ask them for something, if they don't know you very well and you're already asking them to work with you, to collaborate, to give you something, even if it's to take a picture, sometimes even taking a picture or asking to take a picture with somebody too soon can set them off, so you just don't ask anybody for anything until you have given them something first. Now, I'm not saying you have to give them the world. I'm not saying you have to do favor upon favor upon favor. I'm just saying give a little. Give your time. Give your energy. Give some love. And then do that a couple of times. Let days go by before you start making calls or asking people for stuff. So yeah, that is probably the best advice I could give regarding all of that. So yeah, leave a comment. Let me know if this sounds, or not if this sounds, but if this really helps you, if this gets your mind in the right place, or if this sounds like what you needed to hear to get you in the right direction. Subscribe, leave a comment, like the video. Let me know how this helps you. And I'll create more content, okay? Because I'm always thinking of, how I can draw from my experiences to help someone else who might just be starting out, or who's like kind of in the middle of things. Okay, so with all that being said, I hope to talk to you in the comments, or maybe send me an email. Yeah, okay, talk to you soon. Peace.